Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katie Ray. I am joined with Yamel Belen, also known as Jamel. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So this is the first time we met, but
in
we've
person.
been fast friends.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We like to thank our friend Danielle for doing that for us.
Shout out, Danielle.
I'm so excited to have you on. I just think you're doing amazing things. You're an amazing mom, wife, nurse. That's my jam when you're helping others and still doing what you love. So I'd love to really kind of get into how you got on your journey that you're on.
Oh, gosh. What a journey. So I think the medical field has, I was that kid that instead of playing with the dolls and stuff, I was begging my aunt is a nurse. So I would beg her to bring charts that they didn't need anymore from her office. I'm so serious.
How old are you?
I mean, school age. So 7 and up, I felt that calling already, which is funny because my older girls, both told me what they were going to do when they were 5. Yeah. And they are doing that. My oldest told me she was going to be a teacher from 5. And my other daughter told me she was going to be in fashion from 5. She was I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be in fashion. I'm going to be a designer. And I'm get it, girl. So that was kind of me. I used to say doctor. I would say doctor all the time. So we would play with, all my cousins and stuff. We would be at my grandma's house after school and I would be with my little charts, charting. And all the cousins would be okay, I want to be the receptionist. I'm no, I am. Oh, okay, I'll be the patient. And I'm no, I'm the patient. Okay, then I'll be the doctor. And I'm no, I'm the doctor too. So I wanted to be all the parts. Yeah, super bossy from then. My cousins are going to hear this and just die. But, so I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. Now, fast forward to becoming a teen mom, I kind of thought that had to stop and figured I couldn't do that. Now I have this baby to take care of. Medical school is hard. Nursing school is hard. And after I already had my 3 kids, I used to work in corporate America. And at church, I met this lady who must have been an angel. And somehow we started talking about nursing school. And I was yeah, I would love to, but I probably would never get to do that. And she's just why not? Why can't you do that? And I said, well, I have 3 kids. I have a job, my husband. And she was just okay, well, I'm a nursing school professor. So you need to come see me tomorrow. And we're going to talk about school. Oh, and I was enrolled the next day.
Are you in contact with her now?
I am.
How cool. That's good.
I am. Her name is Mel. And so that's how my professional journey started. Mm-hmm. And so my kids, they had to, we joke about it, they kind of had to be without me for a few years because nursing school is very demanding. And I would work full time during the day and go to school at night. And so when I graduated school, they were everybody was what are we doing? Yeah, their life had changed. They used to have dance party Wednesdays. My husband is so sweet because I think he was just trying to keep them from not missing me too much while being super supportive. But definitely nursing school taught me that I can do very difficult things because it's so challenging. I mean, I know that medical school is just as challenging, but definitely nursing school is super hard.
Sweetheart.
That's my high school sweetheart.
Okay, # relationship goals. That's so much fun to see too. And it just reflects in your kids, seeing the hard work, the support. That has to be very satisfying in a way just to see how great they've turned out.
It is. And I do have to be honest for parents listening that at times I thought I wasn't doing a good thing, being away from them, working so hard, going back to school, why, they didn't choose to be born, right? Why was I taking time away from them? But it did come to fruition once I started seeing, especially my oldest, how dedicated she was in college and how dedicated she is to her profession. My oldest is a teacher, and shout out to teachers right now. And I see how dedicated she is. And she always mentions that, I loved watching you work and go to school, and now being a business owner, like they're very involved in all of that. And their support is amazing. I couldn't do it without them, but I hope that, you know, if I'm not with them tomorrow, that they have that example to be like, I can do hard things and my life can be amazing if I put the work into it.
I have chills. So how did you know you really wanted to work with women and babies, and, you know, with your doula, with One Love Doula Services, that coming to fruition, your sixth baby.
My sixth baby.
How did you know that was something you wanted to do?
So doula-ing and the doula world kind of fell in my lap.
Which I don't even know is a verb, but I love the doula-ing.
Doula-ing. So I thought I was going to go into nursing. I went from, I overly educated myself because I thought I was going to go from nursing, which I was an LPN at first, and then I went back to school to get my RN and then my BSN because I wanted to be an L&D. And once I did my L&D rotation, I was just like, you know, I totally support my peers, and I have amazing friends who are L&D nurses, but I couldn't see myself with a laboring person going through the motion and then, okay, I have to leave the room to chart. I have to leave the room to call a doctor. So then the conversation surrounding my births and my experiences where people were like, why do you want to have more kids? And wasn't it like super hard to birth? And I'm just like, not really. Like it was, yes, it is hard work, but I had amazing support. My mom is an amazing doula. Not trained. She's not.
But
she's not.
Doula.
She was my doula. My husband was amazing too. And I think that is what resulted in my experience.
And you wanted people to feel the same
And I
way.
wanted people to feel the same way. So that's our culture at One Love. I want people to feel part of our family. I want them to know that their birth experience matters to me. Like if it was my daughter or my son. And I wanted to contribute to that. I wanted to be able to change the narrative so that people are not going into birth with so much fear and just lack of confidence and worry, but go into their birth experience like, no, the One Love has my back and I'm going to be fine no matter the outcome. We can't promise outcomes, but what we can promise is that throughout the process that you're going to feel supported and you're going to feel seen. Your voice is going to be heard.
Change the whole experience for them. And you being a medical professional and a doula gives you that when you're listening to either like nurses or something talk, you understand exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and doulas do have, I do want to clarify that doulas do have a really good training, and you don't have to be a nurse to be a doula. I just happen to be kind of like the odd man out. But it does give me a little bit of a leg up specifically with my team because we do a lot of continuing education. I'm able to break stuff down for them. We do case conferences during our meetings. So I love being able to bring in like my education and be able to further their education in the birth world or even with diagnoses that maybe we haven't seen before. So it is a plus for both the team and our clients too.
Well, yeah, I could totally see you in like a teaching atmosphere. So that probably gets you hype when you have like a group of people.
I love it. Love teaching, especially when people are interested.
Oh yeah, and it's something you love. So.
Exactly. I do love it.
So there was a story when you were 10 when your mom was in labor.
Yes.
With one of your siblings.
Yep. My baby brother, his birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday, Juan. So he was crowning at home, and instinctually I lowered myself to the ground. My mother was on the floor, like in agony. My dad, I remember him just pacing all over the place. EMS was taking a long time. I mean, we all know like when you're waiting for EMS, I'm pretty sure they're there in 5 minutes, but it feels like hours. And I remember just instinctually just looking down. My mom remembers it too, and seeing, you know, something bulging, and I wiped her down with a cloth. I kept holding her hand and just like rubbing her, which is very much a doula, and all the way until somebody came. And that became even more vivid for me as I entered my doula journey, where it was like, okay, that it all makes sense now. I was already meant to do that even back then.
And how many doulas do you have on your staff now?
My team consists of about 9 team members now, totally by accident. I started One Love just a solo doula. And I thought that's what, it was just going to be a little organization and I'll do great things. And these amazing women started reaching out to me like, how can I, join? And a few of them are super good friends of mine that we've been friends forever. And they've been on my team now for like 4 years. 2 or 3 of them have been on my team for like 4 years. And it just started that way. Like, how can we join? I love what you're doing. I love the energy. I love stepping into your website. I love the 3 little birds, like all of it. And it was so humbling. Like, really? You want to join me? Like, why? But now I love being able to contribute to their household because, they're able to do what they love. And then we have team retreats every year where we get to have fun and unwind and really celebrate all the work that we put into this, because definitely my success now has a lot to do with how they are operating.
How great. Okay, so what year did you start this?
I started One Love officially, if you look up like my official documents, officially like 2014. But I think I was practicing already a year or 2 before that. Yeah, but like 2014 was when my husband was like, the tax man. He's like, we need to make this official, lady. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's do it.
That's amazing to me to see a team. I mean, because you're not going to have people joining your team that don't want to do what they're doing.
Right.
So the energy that you give off is helping lead people into what they want to do, which is amazing to me. And to see it now, like what, from the hard days, like what do you tell yourself? Like how do you kind of compartmentalize like how you got here?
Wow. There's a lot, and there is a lot of hard days. Shout out to everyone that's a business owner, specifically female business owner, because sometimes we're not taking it as seriously as we should. It's like, oh, your little thing, kind of like that. And it's like, no, my little thing, we have this team. What I would tell myself for the hard moments, I would tell myself to keep going. And sometimes I have amazing friends that had to tell me that, because there are times that you feel like giving up. There are times that you feel like quitting because you're like, I'm tired, or I missed, in the beginning when you're doing all the things, you miss a lot. You miss an event at school with the kids, or, something with the family, a party or whatever, because you are your business, right? So I would just remind myself to keep going. And even last year, we had our most complex client situation, not in a bad way, not that client, it was bad. All of my clients are amazing. I feel like we attract the correct, client for us, but it challenged us. And even with that challenge, it was a celebration. Like at the end, the team, I'm like, okay, we're going to Oxford Exchange. We're going to celebrate this because you all did amazing. And there were even things that I was unsure of, that because of your support and all of us coming together and handling this, we did it. And it was like super long-term client over 6 months. That is unheard of in the doula world, like a postpartum client for that long. And I can tell you, really transparent throughout the whole time. I'm like, do they really like us? Like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Am I serving them in the right way? Sometimes you feel that pressure, especially in this space that is such a private and intimate service. But yeah, I would constantly remind yourself to keep going, especially if this is something that you cannot stop thinking about.
Yes, I always say that. Like, you think about it too much, there's got to be some way to support it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So you have 5 kids.
5 kids.
Ages?
24, 21, 16. My son just turned 16, 8, and 6. 8 and 6 are our little sprinkles on top, we call them. Because they are totally surprise, back to back. And they literally light up our worlds. Like the older kids, it was tough at some times because it's like, oh my God, I'm taking away from them now. Mm-hmm. But they're like our little sprinkles on top. Mm-hmm.
That's really cute that you call them.
They're my sprinkles, yeah.
And you were in One Love when they were born, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
That had to have been very empowering for you too, because you're working with women that might be in the same, like pregnant. That had to have been really.
Yeah.
Did definitely. You have one of your doulas help you through?
I didn't. So both of the sprinkles are born at home.
Okay.
And so I was in a different stage in my life, and I knew that what I wanted was just my family. I wanted the older kids to experience this. So my kids are really not weird. Weird is a bad way. No. The other day, Juliana, the 8-year-old, we're talking at Girl Scouts, and I was just telling this little girl's mom this yesterday, where we're talking about her mom, because her mom is pregnant. And so Juliana's like, oh, so your mom is going to have her baby at home, right? And the little girl's like, no. And she's like, Mom, did you have babies in the hospital? This is Juliana, my daughter. And I'm like, yeah, I actually did. 3 of them. And she goes, why? And I'm like, oh my God, my kids are like total like home birthing, breastfeeding. Yeah. And I had to break it down to her, like, listen, people can birth in different locations, but this is what she's used to now. And like William will ask me, so why do people bottle feed? Like, because all he's seen is me breastfeeding for years. So I love the fact that they're so immersed in this world that we openly talk about where babies come out of vagina or a cesarean. We talk about breastfeeding a lot. We talk about postpartum a lot.
I mean, that's super important for boys and girls to hear.
Definitely.
When I'm on my period, I will tell, my son always walks in everywhere, so he doesn't have any boundaries.
I love that.
Yeah, you know that your sisters will also go through this. And he's always like, okay, good to know. And I'll like walk away. And I was just like, all right, cool. Like,
the period is a big thing because the sprinkles want another baby. So the period is huge. So Juliana will come into the bathroom, or Alana, and they'll be like, you're on your period? Ah, dang it. We're not going to have a baby. Girl, I was like, oh my God, I'm telling these kids too much.
That is so funny. Oh my God, I love that. I mean, science helped us. I have IVF babies. So they'll keep asking, like, are we going to have another one? I'm like, actually, no. I have full control over that, and I'm not going through IVF again. So, but they'll always be like, come on, just one more. No, nothing.
But you know, that speaks to how loved they feel and how much they love their siblings. And I always remind, especially the girls, sorry, William, he's like in the middle, but I remind the girls that you're going to have friends. You're going to have a lot of friends, but your sisters, I feel I don't have sisters. I wish I did. And I think that's why I have a lot of girlfriends. And my best friend, if she hears this, she's going to be like, what? I'm your sister. She is my sister. Yes. But I feel like, I don't know, your sister is your person. Even sisters that don't get along. But if something is going on with their sister, they're going to drop everything for their sister.
I have 2 sisters. Older.
Right? Is it like that with you?
100%.
See?
We're always the girls, so we don't go out. Yeah, one will like jump across a bar and fight someone if she had to. Yeah,
exactly. Great. I want that for them.
Yeah,
I want that for them.
I want that exact moment.
That exact moment, Brianna, jump over the bar. Yes,
I do love that. And my son is the oldest, and then it's 2 girls. But you know, I always tell them, like, families look different. There might be one kid, there might be no kids. Like, everybody's family looks different. And
there may be a mom and dad. There may be a mom and mom, and that, or a dad and dad, and that is perfectly fine. And I wanted my kids to know that too. I love, like, I have many moments where I fall in love with my husband all over again. But in our parenting journey, there was one point where I think it was Tatiana in middle school. And, you know, we're just talking to them about how's middle school is tough, right? And he goes, do you like any boys? And she was like, ew, no. And he goes, well, do you like any girls? And she was like, no. You know, like, and she didn't bat an eye with that question. Yeah. And when we went off privately to ourselves, I was just like, I love you, because I want them to know that no matter what type of family they have, no matter who they love, we still love them. Yeah, we still love them.
Sweet. I know. You and your husband are super fucking cute. Thank you.
Thank you.
So going to being a mom, a wife, a nurse, and a business owner, how do you feel about juggling that? Like, what do you do on your really busy days? Like, how do you decompress? Like, what's your thing?
TikTok. We're keeping it real here, right?
Always.
I don't have to
Always.
think with TikTok. And my husband hates
and you
it.
Just laugh and you just,
I
can't
laugh
join it
so much.
I will get like in it.
Right. So nighttime is my only time. Yep. During the day, I really don't have time for it. But I'm like, I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to bring your phone to bed. All of that nonsense. Yes, that's what I would advise my client. But I bring it after a nice bath, after, I've put on lotion and my face creams, my 3 billion face creams, because I'm not getting old. And I turn on TikTok and I just laugh. Your skin's perfection. Thank you. This is work. So yeah, TikTok. But another thing is, I feel that people are chasing that perfect balance or how it looks for other people as perfect. Like, well, Katie's doing it like this, so maybe I should do it like her. It's not going to be the same recipe for you, right? So you have to find what's right for you and your family, if you have a family and also a business owner and all that. For us, one thing that Pedro and I are constantly working on, because that's another thing that I'm very transparent about, there's days that I hate my husband too. 100%. And there's been so many challenges that we've been through. It's not perfect at all. I thank God that we're still together, but I can't say I don't know the future, right? Mm-hmm. But one thing that we do work on a lot is like that communication. And I do feel that I'm able to express my feelings with Pedro. Like even if I hate whitewashing his name, by the way. Let me back up. Pedro, yes. Crosses. Yeah, because we have to like do that. But even if I'm having a shitty day, I want to be able to tell him that. That is also part of the balance. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to be moody. And I want to be able to say, I cannot cook because I am so tired, mentally tired from speaking to people all day long. Or I went to a very difficult birth. He's one of those that is like, how's the mama doing? How are they doing? Is the baby okay? Like, I love that about him. But the balance, I feel, is constantly changing. Yeah. Right? Because just in January, I was dealing with my older girls moving out. That was traumatic for me. I know a lot of parents celebrate that. No, I was curled up in bed.
Yeah, of course you were. That is a piece of you leaving.
Yeah, I was curled up in bed and I had to learn now what my new life looked like, which a lot of people around me were just like, but you should be happy that you raised such independent. I was like, no, I wanted them to be needy and stay with me forever. That's what I wanted.
But he had to know to give you that time.
Yes. Yeah. And because for him, it was different. For him, it was kind of like, oh, yeah, two down. And I was like, less mess. He was like, less mess in the house. And I'm just like, shut up. Don't talk to me. My girls are not here. Yeah. I don't get to see them every day. So I think that it's hard to pinpoint, this is how I balance. And it's always great because this is what I do. No, because I can have systems in place and today my business may need more of me or tomorrow it needs less. So I do try to find I hate to use somebody else's phrase, but there is a TikToker. She was a YouTuber and then became a TikToker. I will say that her little thing or trend is pockets of peace. Okay. So we all have to find those little pockets. I'll say joy, like little pockets. So like Monday, I went with the girls. It was our Mother's Day gift to ourselves. And we went to the Don Cesar for the day.
That was your pocket of joy.
Exactly. I can't say that I will be able to always do that, but I definitely, those moments, I really enjoy them. I don't feel guilty about them. The old me did. The old me would feel like, great. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That we're filling our own cups up, but we feel guilty about it. It's such a crazy thing to get out of. Because in the back of your head, you still do feel a little bit. You just got to push it away, put it in the back seat. But it's insane that we still do that. It's just as women in general, we do it all the time. People who are compassionate, like just women who think, I should be just completely sacrificial for this. Like I should just sacrifice all my time and peace to help this person. Mm-mm. And you're like, wait a second. No.
And that's something that I remind our parents that hire us. I say, your kids really don't need much. Mm-hmm. They need happy parents. Yep. That's what they need. The major thing. After that, of course, is food, shelter, all these technical things, but they really need happy parents. And I feel like once I really noticed that, because our kids, it's funny, Tatiana specifically at one point was like, wait, we're not rich? Like she thought all this time. And Pedro and I looked at each other like, oh my God, that's so funny. But it's because their life was so full of love and experiences and togetherness, right? That she thought we were rich. Well, Tatiana is going to listen to this. She still thinks we're rich. Tatiana, put the card away. Don't go to Nordstrom's now.
She's like, no, we are.
No, we are. Goodbye. In her mind, yeah.
So I love that you're so real about that too, because you live a very fulfilling life, but you have to give yourself grace on the hard days. What's the one, okay, so for my billion listeners, what is something you want them to, hello, billion listeners. Hi. Hello. What do you want them to take away from this interview?
Oh my gosh.
Did I stump you? Gotcha.
Yeah, you did stump me. For the moms, I want them to take away that it is okay to do for yourself. Totally okay. Because I have so many friends, really good friends that don't do for themselves. And I want them to take it from, like I tell at one point I was having this argument with this girl. Yes, I do argue, guys. And she was asking like for parenting advice from someone, and I kind of like chimed in and gave my advice. And she was like, well, you know, like kind of like dismissive. And I was like, no, actually my advice probably matters more because I've actually raised more children than you.
Yeah.
Like my kids were already older. And I think at the time she had like a 6-month-old. Mm-hmm. So I feel sometimes people are getting inspo or advice from those that haven't even done it. So look around to like those people that they're living their life that is inspiring to you and being truthful about it. Because that's one thing. I think that's why I don't have 1 million followers on Instagram, because I am pretty truthful where I'll get on my stories and be like, I'm sorry, I haven't been here because I might actually have to work.
Yeah.
I actually have to work. I actually have to clean.
Like organically, you're helping people without even realizing.
Hopefully. So yeah, to live unapologetically too, I think is another takeaway, because I didn't for a long time. I wasn't my true self, and I was very much worried about what people thought about me. I know that's like a trendy thing.
No, but it's real. It's totally real.
I was like, I wouldn't even probably do something like this because I would be like, what are they going to think? Or what are they going to think after I say about my life?
People always say that to me. And I'm like, no, like your story matters. Your journey matters. You will impact one person at least from the $1 billion.
Yeah. So even though I know some people think that I'm rude, maybe my family, because I'm very opinionated and honest. I am going to be honest, and I can't handle the honesty too.
Experienced a lot. People take it as rude, but it's like you're just giving what you've experienced. Like you're just preaching to people to let them know, like, this is what I've experienced. Here's my input on it. Yeah, it's not like you're like judging people. You're just like, hey, here's my opinion on this.
Right.
And that's hard for people to realize. And to be honest, do we really want those people as an audience?
No. And I don't and I do not like to surround myself with people that only think like me. And are like, yeah, you're right. No, I like the Danielles. I like the Katys that are going to be like,
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, Yamel. Like, why don't you think, like, I have this one really good friend, Emily, that whenever there's like a really controversial, like, I don't know, story on the news or whatever, we always like battle it out. And I love those conversations because she, again, unapologetically tells me how she really feels. And even if I feel totally different, that gives me an opportunity to think and to use your brain is a muscle, guys. Use your brain muscles quick tip to be able to be like, oh yeah, maybe not. Maybe I should consider looking into this other thing.
Opening people's minds is a huge thing.
Right.
And you're so right. Unapologetic, opening people's mind, take advice from people who are experts. Like, not experts, but just people who have done it. I don't like to say experts because it gets thrown around a lot.
Literally.
But you're totally right. But you give that vibe off, and I think it's awesome to have. And, like having those conversations with people because, you grow up differently. And saying like, this is what I thought, or this is what I learned, and you're talking it out. It's like that respect we've lost.
Yep.
Just having those type of conversations, because it's a time to actually educate someone and teach them like, no, it's actually like this. And then it opens someone's mind and they're like, holy shit. But
and being aware that we all are raised differently too. I find like, I love, I don't know, do you listen to Bad Bunny?
I have.
Okay. So like one of his new songs says like, everybody wants to be Latino now, but they're missing the seasoning. And that was like such a moment for me, because I got made fun of in high school for being Latina, and like, oh, you have a lot of, like, your hair's so dark, and you have a lot of hair on your arms, and your eyebrows are so bushy, and like all of that. Or, oh, your parents don't speak English, you know? And now it's like, so cool to be Latina. Like, so yeah, I wish I had like such a deeper thing to tell everybody, but I think the main thing is to live unapologetically, because one thing is, growing up, I was very submerged in my culture, and I was very proud of it. Even in the moments where I was kind of like, oh my God, mommy, lower your voice. Like,
I love that. Where can we find you, Yamel?
Yes, you said it beautifully. You can find me on Instagram at Yamel Belen. You can find, if you're trying to conceive or newly pregnant, you want to learn more, One Love Doula Services. We always drop a lot of knowledge there. TikTok.
Of course, TikTok.
And yeah, you can slide into my DM. I love when people slide into my DMs and are just like, what do you advise for? Blah, blah, blah. If I don't have the answer, I'm going to guide you to one of my people that can help you. When
we bring back like discussions, roundtable discussions on the podcast, you're definitely coming back to just do some other good stuff and input, because you are amazing. I would love to. I would love to. We're at Beacon Creative Studios in Ybor City. You have been a treat. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.